Hi, I'm Robert Shalide. Welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great episode for you today. With us is two of our finest young officers, Officer Gemara. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Chief, thank you.
Officer Dylan Najar. Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chief.
As you both on the show today, I want to talk about some different things. You both came up through the Department Cadet Program, transitioned into police officers. I think you're both coming up on your second year.
It'll be my first year, off probation, August.
Okay, so Dylan, you're...
I'm coming up on August. It will be my second
year.
Yep.
So we got 1 year coming up in 2 years.
Yep.
You're both on your own now, correct? Mm-hmm. Have your own scout cars. We're going to show you some video footage later of both the officers riding alone, and very interesting. I think you'll find that. But one of the first things I want to ask you both is, in our day and age, right now in the present 2021, law enforcement is under attack from numerous different entities, okay, including the media, our leaders, elected leaders, activists. It disgusts me. Somebody's been in law enforcement for almost 35 years. And I know that nationwide there's a problem with recruitment, getting officers to want to be police officer anymore. And I look to know my own family, my kids, I will steer them away from law enforcement knowing what I know. I want to know why two talented, intelligent, young, educated people like you came into law enforcement into this environment. Nikki, why don't we start with you?
Okay, I came into this environment knowing that I would do well and I would thrive in it. Especially being a female, I know that it is difficult and that I would have more to prove, and I like being able to prove myself. I grew up in Shelby Township. On top of it, I care about this township, and I want to be the one, and one of also many, who can prove that, police officers are good people, and we are out here to help people, and we are out here for the right reasons.
Okay. Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Chief, it was, this is something, doing this line of work, it's something I've always dreamed about ever since I was a little kid. Even all my friends and stuff always call me a cop nerd. This was a calling for me, and with my dad being in law enforcement as well, it's just something I've always looked up to him and always looked up to what he does. And, for me, regardless of the environment, I know that there's going to be ebbs and flows, and the way that we're viewed, and prior to the start of COVID and right around when the pandemic all started happening, law enforcement, first responders, everybody were viewed as heroes. So, it's just different times as society kind of changes. We're going to be looked at, in law enforcement as the heroes and the villains. Sometimes it all depends on what that narrative is and who's putting that narrative out there. But for me, I think that this was a calling for me. I've always wanted to help people, and doing this job, kind of like what Nikki said, I'm really proud of this township and everything that we've done here. And I think that, this is a great department to work for and a great place to work. And like I said, for me, this is it was a calling. This is always what I've wanted to do, and I wanted to, help people and take care of the community and make sure that the community that my family and my friends live in is safe to, the best of my abilities.
Great insight. I appreciate that. I heard you make a statement on your ride along with Shelby TV, and you said if you could change one person each night you work, change your attitude about law enforcement, it's a big win. And I loved when you said that. And basically what we do, we control what we can control, right? The people we interact with, we make sure we're professional at all times and show them who we really are. Because I know, I've been in the profession, like I said, for almost 35 years, and what they're painting, the picture they're painting is an absolute lie. And it disgusts me. Mm-hmm. And I just want to make sure that our residents know that our police officers are out there doing the right thing at all times. They're professional, they're service-oriented, and they're out here to protect our citizens and keep them safe.
Absolutely.
And I think that our young people come in the door right now, when I see how you represent us and I read what you're doing and watch you on video, I'm very proud of your actions. So we mentioned earlier you both transitioned from cadet. What was the hardest thing transitioning from a cadet to a police officer? Dylan, you start.
So I think the hardest thing transitioning from a cadet to a police officer is just, the cadet program did such a great job of getting us prepared. I know with both myself and Nicole, we both took the cadet program and we ran with it. We didn't just do the bare minimum. We both tried to exceed what was expected of us, whether that was handling reports or just putting ourselves out there to talk to the command staff and the officers when we're on ride-alongs. I think one of the biggest challenges though was just you know, when you get into the FTO program, there's a little bit more that's expected of you.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, the cadet program prepared us for that, but that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me was, you know, just trying to figure out what exactly, you know, because the one thing that I've learned with the FTO program, and we have a great FTO program here where you ride with a few different officers, and I had the pleasure of riding with a couple of extra officers due to some benefit time that some of my FTOs had. And the biggest thing I learned was being able to pull the things that I liked from every FTO and every trainer that I had, and being able to kind of mold myself into the officer that I want to be, and try and, you know, pull the things that I liked from this officer and use those to kind of help me figure out what type of officer I want to be and what I want to do with my career.
I love it. And touching on that, what I was taught in Detroit, even if you're dealing with guys that you don't like and you think they can't teach anything, you learn that's how I don't want to be.
Right.
I don't want to act like that. I don't ever want to treat you know, a young officer like that or a resident like that. You learn, it's a constant learning progress is what you're saying basically.
Yep.
Nikki, what about you?
I agree with everything that Dylan said. On top of it, I'm my biggest critic, I feel. You know, people can tell me I'm doing a good job, but it doesn't matter. I still know that there's so much room for me to improve and to do better. So I think probably the most difficult for me was knowing how important that transition was, is from taking everything that I learned as a cadet and using that towards going through the FTO program, which is starting an academy. Going through the FTO program and then being on your own. It's so important to, you know, think about officer safety and just the way you interact with everybody. The importance of it is something that you need to focus on, and I knew that I had to make sure I was doing a good job.
One of the things that Deputy Chief Schmittler and Deputy Chief Coyle and myself monitor constantly is our morale, our department morale. And it's very important to us to make sure that the officers have good morale, good spirits. And how we gauge this, obviously through word of mouth, you know, a lot of people talking to us and everything, but we look at our citizens' complaints compared to compliments. And you can tell, if you're getting a lot of citizen complaints, that means morale is not very good. And I've gauged that. And right now, our compliments to complaints are around 10-1, which is fantastic. Now, I've worked at 3 different police departments. And I had great pride in both my old departments. When I worked there, and even after I've left both departments, one I retired and the other one I left, I truly feel in my heart something special here about our department. Okay. Now I know you two haven't worked at other police departments, but you went to academy with people from other departments. I know you have friends from other police departments. And do you feel that same thing that I do? That when you come in and you put on this badge that says Shelby Township and you have this patch, do you have the pride that I want you to have and that I have putting on this badge? And what does it mean to you? Nikki, you go first.
Absolutely. I absolutely feel that way. Just the first day that I started working here, people coming up to me and, you know, sworn officers and non-sworn officers, if you ever need anything, just let us know. The support that you have just starting off as a cadet is huge, and it made me personally want to stay with this department. Any type of hardship that you go through in life, there's people there. They are truly your brothers and sisters, and I think Shelby Township is the best place to work for, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, you know, kind of just piggybacking off the stuff that Nicole said, it's just, you know, the one thing that I really find is that I enjoy coming to work every day. And I've had the pleasure of working on every single shift and working with pretty much just about everybody that works the road in our department. Due to some, you know, scheduling changes and things like that, I've worked on every single shift. I've worked for pretty much every boss that we have here, even with some of the overtime. And no matter what shift I'm working with, you know, my current night shift, I thoroughly enjoy working with them. It's a lot of fun. You know, coming into work every day, putting on the uniform, putting on the badge, and just being with my coworkers. It's just a great department. You know, it's a great department. We have, like you mentioned, we have just a great morale. I mean, you know, we're in roll call and we're having fun and we're enjoying ourselves, and we go out on the road and we take care of what we got to take care of. We do our jobs and do it to the best of our abilities. And like I said, no matter what shift I'm working with, it's a lot of fun coming into work. It's something that I enjoy, and you know, I've talked to, like you mentioned, some other, you know, some friends from other departments, and they enjoy what they do, but I can tell that there's not that sense of, I really enjoy going into work. I really enjoy the people that I work with and the department and the community. And our community, like you touched on with the complaints to the compliments. I mean, even working in night shift, and I've worked the night shift almost 8 months now, and I still, you know, to this day, even though it gets dark a little bit early and down in the wintertime, we're still getting flagged down, and people are still thanking us and letting us know that they support us. I mean, I know that Nicole can probably attest to that, being on days, and you know, any of overtime shifts I've worked on days, anything that I've done when I'm working, it's just constantly being flagged down by the citizens and being thanked for just doing our jobs, just rolling through subdivisions.
Absolutely. I think I can speak for both of us when I say that we're both extremely proud to wear a badge that says Shelby Township Police Department.
I love it, and I agree wholeheartedly. Let's take a look, Dylan, at you in action right now, and I think our residents will enjoy it.
I've been a police officer just over a year. December 18th was my 1 year mark here. I was getting paid as a police officer since August of last year due to the academy, and Shelby puts their cadets through the academy, and I became a patrol officer on August 12th of 2019 and went through the academy. But as far as working the road, being on the road in uniform, December 18th was my first day. It was the day I was sworn in and went through the FTO program. Finished the FTO program about March or so, and I've been working the road. Primarily nights. I've worked about 3 or 4 months on days, but I love night shift. I love being on the road at night. It's a lot more fun. There's a lot more to get into when you're working at night. Ever since I was little, I loved watching cop shows. All my fellow colleagues here at the department and my buddies outside of work, they all call me a cop nerd. I'm a geek about it. I love learning this stuff, and I dig into the laws. I look for things that can help us do our job the right way and, stop people from doing crime and ultimately help the citizens, help the community. All right, ma'am, here's your information back, okay? So I'm just gonna give you a warning tonight. Make sure that you're paying attention when you're driving, okay? I don't know if it was the radio or something out of the phone or something. Make sure we're paying attention when we're driving, okay? I don't want you swerving over in another lane and getting into any accident or anything like that, okay? And it's one of those things that I like helping people and I like being there for people. And there are times where, being a police officer, you're gonna run into those situations where people don't like you and they don't want you there. But I found here, I love the township. I love this township. The people, everybody here is great. People treat us really well. It's got a sense of like a home feeling here. Can't go north. Can't go north. I've always been interested in police work. I've always been interested in law enforcement. So I've kind of seen the ebbs and flows. You've got, years and years of people like police and then they hate the police. It's frustrating, but at the same time, I look at it as, that's part of the reason I do this job is so that everybody has their rights to, they have their right to free speech, they have their right to do what they want to do, and everybody has a right to their own opinion. And I always just look at it as, if I can change one person's opinion on a police officer a day, I've done a good job. Have you had anything to drink tonight at all? No, okay, all right. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who drunk drive. So when it comes to that, I'd look at, each drunk is, one of my mentors who is recently retired. When it comes to drunk drivers, he was the king of them, Officer Van Dyke. He would look at every drunk driver as, you take one off the road as a life saved, because, that's somebody that could have hit and killed a family or even themselves. Crashing their vehicle, anybody who drives with anything in their system, it's frustrating. And people are like, oh, well, I almost made it home. Well, you almost did, but you could have hurt somebody. And actually, we got a violation up here. We got a vehicle driving with no lights on. Well, unless he kicked them on. We'll find out here in a minute. Yeah. I had him on 30 traffic.
26 in the night.
We'll be pulling up on 26 and 53 now. I don't like this spot, but
26 and 53.
It's not terrible because I do have the shoulder. Hello, ma'am. Officer Najar, Shelby Township Police. So the reason for the stop tonight is you don't have any lights on. Your tail lights were off. So I just want to make sure that, you know, when it comes to tail lights, especially if you were going to hop on M53 and going down 26 Mile, it's real dark. The last thing I want is you getting into an accident, okay? And every interaction with the police is, you know, people have nerves. And I get it, and this lady here was nervous as well. A simple violation, she didn't have her tail lights on. That's one of my big pet peeves as an officer on nights, because like I said, my main goal when it comes to pulling traffic stops, I'm not out trying to get people. I really don't care. You know, people speed, people do things, I get it, but there's certain limits on stuff when it comes to traffic violations. Like hammering people on seatbelts, because seatbelts save lives. They really do. And you know, people, when it comes to red lights as well. So, Officer Najar, Shelby Township. So the reason for the stop is you ran that red light there.
I did?
Yeah.
I thought it was so young.
Oh, it was pretty solid red, ma'am. I'm not one of those people that goes out there digging for traffic, finding, you know, trying to pull everybody over and write everybody tickets. I look for stuff that's serious, like that. You know, that lady could have caused an accident. Had somebody else been a little eager, you know, to go off the green light there, that's an accident. And she's doing the speed limit, which is 45, 50 miles an hour, and the other person now is doing 20 miles going the opposite direction. Now you've got a pretty serious collision. So, red lights, the lights are there for a reason. We got to follow the lights. So like I said, you do have a good driving record. The issue is we've been having a lot of bad accidents with people running red lights. And I'm not saying that you're at fault in any way in terms of an accident, but it's just a safety thing. I just want to make sure that you get home safe and everybody else gets home safe, okay? And you know, not everybody's a criminal, not everybody's out doing crime late at night, but like I said before, usually nothing good really comes of people being out at 3, 4 in the morning. So there's usually alcohol involved at that point, or some sort of, you know, narcotic that can be involved when you're getting to that late at night. Kids being out that late at night, there's a reason we have a curfew, and there's a reason that we enforce the curfew, because we had a lot of problems this past summer down in River Bends. People were, there was a lot of underage drinking going on, so we were in our parks every single night, and we were issuing tickets to people, curfew violations. We were issuing trespass tickets to vehicles. So we ran across it a few times, and word started to spread that, hey, Shelby Township's patrolling their parks. Let's stay out of River Bends late at night, because the park's closed at night. So we'd inform everybody that, and we let them know that you can't be in here at night, because nothing good ever happens that late at night. It usually starts to involve some stuff that shouldn't be going on. So we do our best, and that's, like I said, that's the main reason I love nights. Is there's a lot more going on. The township comes alive sometimes at night. During the winter months, it's not as much, but during the summer months, that's when the fun starts. That's when everybody's out. Things are usually busy. Bars are open. You've got just people out doing what people do.
That was our ubiquitous Officer Najar. He's a rising star in our police department, and yes, that was him with a mustache. And today you see him clean shaven. So next we'll highlight Officer Nicole Gemara and show you her in action.
I started here as a cadet last June, and then I went to academy in January of last year. So I've been a patrol officer for about a year. And it looks like the tabs are up to date for 2021, so it was the only thing that really made me get any type of good feeling about a career. I'm not the type of person that likes to sit behind a desk. Okay. I like different things happening, keeping it exciting, but obviously do good for the community. I also grew up here, so I care a lot about the township. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to go through a lot of training, so you have to be dedicated to your job. You have to be dedicated to what you do, especially nowadays with all the controversy about being a police officer. You need to be in it for the right reasons. I have so many goals with this department. There's so much room for me to grow, and I want to do pretty much a little bit of everything. Canine, the TRUE team that we have, the Tactical Response Unit, detective, you know, the SIU detectives. They have so many different opportunities that I would like to be a part of all of it. I have a long way to go, so got plenty of time to do it all.
Pulling in this early.
Charlie 132's 23 and 53. I'll head his way. My partner in my Charlie area today just called out for a traffic stop at 21 and Hayes. As I said, with listening, you know, and say you're listening to the radio or anything of that sort, you need to be able to listen to the radio. So I just heard that he pulled a traffic stop, and we like to always back each other up whenever possible, just for safety reasons. They sent me the incident, so I ran the plate myself just to see what it came back to, just so I can know what I'm driving into. So the driver has a warrant out of Flint. And my partner asked dispatch to check with Flint if they want to pick her up for the warrant. You kind of just need to go through your mind what could possibly happen and be prepared for anything. It could be just a simple speeding and the person be really nice, or it could come back, you know, with a dangerous felony warrant. You really never know what to expect. 2 messages were sent, so I would just make sure you're okay with them, that it's safe to say just advise and release. Flint messaged back and said to advise and release the driver on the misdemeanor warrant. So we just told her that a lot of people don't even know that they have a warrant for their arrest. So just advise them that they did have one and tell them to take care of it. Okay, I'd like to stand out by the window. Because when people are writing tickets or doing something on the computer, their attention is divided from the computer to the person, which can be an officer safety issue. That's why we always try and back up everybody for everything, no matter how silly or minuscule the incident may seem. So I can watch the driver and passengers of the vehicle while he's doing what he needs to do on the computer.
A third-party caller would like us to check on the dog in the home. She believes there's no heat or electricity to the home. House is in disrepair for the caller. Would like us to check on the 15-year-old dog.
Charlie 132's en route. That's not very nice. 15-year-old dog with no heat. Hey, Sarge. So at the animal call, the neighbor has been checking on the dog for about a month now, like twice a day now that it's gotten colder. There's no heat in the house. It's just been pooping in the house. She's been trying her best, but she said this dog needs some help. So with animal control being closed today, what is a possibility that we can do with the dog?
What did he say?
He said have dispatch see if we can take him to the Humane Society.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, then try a different route. Let's go check it out first. It's a nice dog?
Yeah, she said it. Have you been leaving the radio on for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
Buddy?
She asked me to leave the radio on and the tube lights, so I just...
132, did the dog, is it sick or injured at all?
Injured it all.
Not injured at all. Yeah, very cold. Hi. Hi, baby.
I think I saw a leash on the front porch.
Hi. Yeah, you want to go ahead and grab that? We're going to get you some help, okay?
Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing what you've been doing. You know, you're helping someone else's dog out, you know. Hi. What's her name? Her?
Lily.
Lily? Lily. Hi, Lily.
Does she have a collar on or anything?
Yes. I mean, I'm not leaving this dog here. Like, regardless of something. Gosh.
horrible. Breaks my heart.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
No, this house is unlivable.
Dispatch 132. They will be waiting for you. They have room.
You can't just.
Awesome.
Right, absolutely.
10-4. Thank you. All right. Lily,
We're
gonna take her-
to the shelter, and they're gonna house her there. That way she's got somewhere warm to stay and food.
come on, Lily. Oh, good girl. All right. You just come on, Lily. Come on. Charlie 132 dispatch.
132.
I will be transporting the dog to the Humane Society. That stuff breaks my heart. Poor helpless dog. Could have easily freezed to death. Come here, baby. You didn't even sit on the blanket. Come on, hi. Come on, Lily. Her name's Lily. Yes. According to a neighbor, she did this last winter, but the neighbor has been taking care of the dog for the past month. They had to buy their own food and carry over water. There was no heat or water in the home, so the home was also, not only was there no heat, but it was in extremely bad condition. Just, you know, pooping in the house. The home, it's pretty much unlivable. So if that information could get possibly passed along to, you know, be very cautious. If the owner is able to take the dog, she's not really able to take the dog. So I don't know if maybe we should relay that information, or you guys can relay that information, or if it matters, I don't know. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Officer Gemara, Officer Najar, thank you both for coming on the program. We look forward to a very successful career for the both of you, and hopefully one day I could see you two sitting in this chair where I am. There's no doubt in my mind. So keep working hard and follow your dreams. You've been watching Straight Talk with Robert Schlide. Thank you. We'll see you next month.